Alrighty. So today I just wanted to talk to y'all about the problem that we have in our country with drug possession and addiction, and what we can do for those people in those situations. So my question here today for us is incarceration a valid method of treating narcotic addictions? What some other methods might be for us, and what we can do about the problem with addiction in this country. So, according to the drugrehab.com, where I got some of my information from, around half, specifically 45%, of all federal prisoners in the United States were arrested for drug charges, and so that puts a major strain on our prison system, and with rehabilitation programs, we could cut that strain tremendously. In fact, according to the Journal of American Medical Systems report that I read, it would be worth we would make all of our money back even if only 10% of the people that we had in prison with drug addictions were to get rehab and were to no longer relapse or go back into prison. We would make all that money back. So let's begin with discussing the benefits of these rehabilitation services. So first of all, we have higher rates of compliance. According to OxfordTreatment.com, if you get rehab in a community-based center, you're 50% more likely to not relapse than if you just go to prison and you don't get any treatment. And second of all, we're actually providing them with care instead of punishment. According to the ACLU's report, there is much more of a punitive sort of thing that goes into prison rather than rehabilitative services. If we take them to prison, they're being, locked up, they're under a stressful environment, and it's not like you can get narcotics in prison. They're not being taken away from the narcotics as much as we might think that they are. And so it's really better for them and for the community to put them into these rehabilitative services and get them back into the world as productive citizens. And a lot of the time, what happens is whenever they go to prison, they might stay clean while they're in prison, assuming they're not able to get a hold of narcotics. But they go back into the community, they go back to home, and if they haven't had any counseling or anything like that, they're put right back into those situations that made them want to use in the first place, and so that makes them more likely to relapse. But on the other side of the equation, we do use incarceration, and it's not all bad. It keeps people who've committed violent drug offenses off the street, and it actually does, in some cases, it keeps people from being able to access narcotics sometimes. And so, if they're able to heal while they're in prison, then that can help them whenever they get back out. And some prisons, federal prisons in particular, usually have more funding, and so they're able to have rehabilitative services in the prison itself. But kind of a downside to that is that not all prisons are created equal, and so a lot of more local prisons or state prisons don't have the funding that they need in order to provide these top-of-the-line rehabilitative services. So, I've talked about why rehab is better for the addict, getting them care instead of punishing them, and things like that, but why is it better for us as a society, just overall? Well, it saves taxpayers money. Prison costs a lot of taxpayer money, and like I said, about 45% of people that are in prison are there related in some way to narcotics, whether that's possession or dealing or use, what have you. And so if we can keep a lot of those people out of the prison system at all, then that'll end up saving us quite a bit of money. And related to that, it reduces the strain on the prison system. We already have a lot of people incarcerated that don't necessarily need to be incarcerated, So if we can keep them out of prison and get them help so that they don't ever end up having to need to go to prison, then that would just reduce a lot of strain on the prison system and help them to be able to benefit society. So I've told you about the benefits of rehab and that incarceration isn't all bad, but it could be a lot better. Not all prisons are created equal. And we've talked about why rehab is better financially and socially. So I think what we need to do as a society is we need to invest more in these type of rehabilitative services for all of these reasons that I've listed, to create a better society, to help these addicts rather than punishing them. Thank you.